Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's your boy MidnightMan. Did I get you? Did I get you? I'm just messing around a little bit. Anyways, today I'm going to be showing you guys how to set up the Elgato HD60S Plus with your PlayStation 4. And you can follow this method even if you own the HD60S. It's pretty similar, maybe with some slight differences, but you can go ahead and follow this tutorial as well. We're going to be going over the recording aspects, editing, live streaming with a Facecam in this video. So I hope you guys are ready. It's going to be a quite detailed one because I want to slow it down so you guys get the information that you're supposed to. So up on the screen, you'll have all the timestamps that you can move around in the video however how you please. I'll also put the stamps in the description so that way if you guys ever come back to this video, you can find exactly what spot in the video that you need. So to jump right into this, guys, let me cover what you're going to need in order to set all this equipment up correctly. The first thing you're going to need is the Elgato HD60S Plus, or the S if you want to follow along with that capture card. In the box with that capture card, you should have gotten a USB-C to USB 3.0 cable, so that will be used to connect the capture card to the computer. If you're using a Mac OS, I would highly recommend getting a USB-C to USB-C cable so that way you don't have to use any sort of dongles in between your capture card and the computer. I'll link one that I recommend in the description below. You should also have two HDMI cables. One came with your PlayStation 4, the other one came with the capture card. And you're gonna need a high definition TV, like the one that's next to me right here. Some other things that I would recommend you have but are not mandatory, you can pick up the Elgato Chat Link cable right here. This is for the people who have headsets and want to hear their gameplay audio and chat audio through the same channel and have that be recorded at the same time. I actually used to use the chat link cable, but not anymore after upgrading to the HD60S Plus. I listen to my audio all through my computer headphones, which allows my controller to be completely free of wires, and it's much nicer in my opinion. Using the HD60S for this method may not work as well because that audio, if you're listening through the computer, will be slightly delayed and it just won't be as real time like you're playing the game and listening to the audio directly from the controller or the PlayStation itself. And I've gotten a lot of DMs of people not being able to record their party chat audio even with this cable. Guys, you gotta make sure in your settings that your audio are all going to the same location. So that means if you're using the chat link cable, make sure that your party chat audio is going through the controller to your headphones and that your gameplay audio is going through the controller through your headphones. So that way you'll be able to get all the audio recorded all at once. There should be no issues not recording party chat audio. I'll even throw up my audio settings on my PlayStation 4 right now. This is what I run with, and I've been able to have no problems recording gameplay audio and my party chat audio. And the last bit I would add to this, if you're having trouble hearing your party chat members, is make sure you raise the volume in your settings. Even in the game, sometimes in the game chat, it might be soft. You want to go into your audio settings within the game and raise the volume so you can hear everybody. Some other pieces of equipment I would recommend is using a nice USB microphone over the built-in microphone that might be on your computer. And then lastly, having your Facecam setup. So whether that be a DSLR camera that I have right in front of me, if I want to just do some post-editing Facecam gameplay later, you can also do that with a cell phone. See, I have a Joby tripod right here with the phone mount clipped on there, and I can record my Facecam that way. Even a USB webcam, which is usually best if you're live streaming, but if you want to use something like a DSLR while you're live streaming, you need to get this thing called the CamLink 4K by Elgato. And if you're trying to use your phone as a device to live stream, I would check out the application called EpocCam. I'm actually going to do a whole tutorial on that soon. It'll be in the card whenever it's done, so you want to make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that video. And the final piece of equipment that you will need, this one isn't a recommendation, it's a computer. You need a computer to run the Elgato HD60S Plus or the S with the Elgato software or Streamlabs OBS. You need a computer. This cannot be computerless. Elgato has their recommendations for how powerful your computer should be on their website, but I would bump these specs up even further. Of course, it needs to be a quad-core processor. It cannot be dual-core. Just understand that when you're looking at laptops to purchase, and I would go with something with 8 GB of RAM as well as a dedicated graphics card of some sort. I would avoid integrated if you want to avoid lag as much as possible. I'll put some laptop recommendations in the description below, so go check those out. So if you happen to be all good to go in the equipment department that you need, then you're good to move forward in this video, and I'm about to show you how you set this stuff up. Let's go. To get into this, guys, the first thing you want to do, even before you put together the equipment, is to go over to your settings. Then you're going to want to go down to System, And right here, enable HDCP. You must have this unchecked, because check out what happens if you have it checked. Your screen's going to be black. You're going to see exactly what I'm seeing. Nothing. Blackness. So please make sure that's unchecked before you even start putting anything together. Next, you can head over to Elgato's website and go to the downloads section. And on this page, you want to download the corresponding game capture software for your operating system that's compatible with the HD60S Plus. I'm running a MacBook Pro, so in my case, I'm going to download the game capture for Mac. And if I go to the plus icon down there, I can see that is compatible with the HD60S Plus. On the Windows side, if you try to download the game capture software, you see that it's not compatible with the HD60S Plus. So you'll need to scroll down just a little bit and download the 4K capture utility for Windows, and you'll see down here in compatibility that it is good with the HD60S Plus. Now that you have the corresponding game capture software installed, we're going to need to put this equipment together. So to make things easy for you guys, I found this graphical image from Elgato that shows the general layout of how you want your cables to connect to this capture card. And just in case this diagram's a little bit confusing to you, how about I show you step by step how you put this together. So now if we go ahead and pick up our HD60S Plus capture card and we grab one of the HDMI cables right here, we're going to just plug that into the HDMI in slot right there, and the rest of this cable will go into your PlayStation. Now let's grab that second HDMI cable I told you guys about. You're going to want to plug this HDMI cable into the HDMI out slot, with the other end of this going into your television. So far so good. HDMI in into the PlayStation, HDMI out into your TV. Now let's grab that USB cable. Now, most of you are probably just using the one that came in the box, the USB 3.0 to USB-C cable, but since I have a Mac, I also have an additional cable where it's USB-C to USB-C, so that I don't have to use any dongles in between my laptop and the capture card here. So whichever cable you're using, you're going to want to take one of the USB-C ends and plug that into the capture card. It'll be right next to the HDMI in slot. The other end of that cable you're going to want to plug into your computer or your laptop. Now let's say you're one of those PlayStation 4 users that like to hear their gameplay and chat audio through their controller. Well, the extra cable you can pick up is the Elgato Chat Link cable right here. You'll plug in the far end without all the other things attached right next to the HDMI in slot, like that. The other end of that cable will go into your PlayStation 4 controller, just like so. And then you'll have the other connector right here. That will be for your headphones. So now you'll be able to hear your gameplay audio coming through, as well as it being recorded through the capture card. But anyways, you guys should have something looking like this at the end of this initial cable setup. Maybe minus the chat link cable if you'd rather just hear your audio through your computer speakers, which is how I prefer to listen to my gameplay audio, as I can listen to music and other things through my computer. If all your cables are set up correctly with your capture card, you will see the gameplay appear in your capture card software, whether that be the Elgato game capture software, which I'm running right here in the Mac, or the 4K utility tool. Some of you might discover during your setup process is that you can't get a signal, black screen. Guys, I've had the issue too, as you can see. It happens to the best of us. You know, it's technology. It doesn't always work right. My suggestion to you guys to fix this problem is to verify that your cables are all connected properly. If they are, go ahead and close out the program. Even give your computer a fresh restart if you have to. Disconnect the USB from your computer, then put it all together and see if you get your signal back. And 9 times out of 10, you usually do. You got a signal? Awesome. Let me show you around the Elgato game capture software as well as the 4K utility tool now. Since I'm on my Mac right now, I'll give you guys a quick tour of the Elgato game capture software. So starting off with the capture tab and the device section here, you will have your Elgato HD60S Plus capture card selected right here. And if it's not, you should select it so you can see your gameplay screen already. Right above that, to the right here would be your settings. So this is where you can enable flashback recording. You can have the stream command enabled, which is down here. You can adjust your sharing settings and also the software updates if you want to check for those automatically. If you're not going to be using flashback recording or the stream command features, you can disable some of these because it'll just speed up your computer a little bit. Below that, you have the settings for the capture card itself. So this is where you can select the input device. It always kind of defaults here to other. Even if I have PlayStation 4 selected, I can even pick the Xbox One and it's still going to work. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter which one you pick here. As long as you're getting your picture, that's what's important here. Input, I have it at HDMI. There's nothing else I would have it in because I'm connecting things using HDMI cables. And if I were to check this off with analog, this is going to pull audio from the chat link cable. I'm not using the chat link cable. I'm listening to the audio through my computer, so I'll keep that unchecked. HDMI color range, I have mine at standard, profile, 1080, and I'm allowing 60 FPS to get that better quality. I don't have a crop, and I've left these other options unchecked as I just haven't had a need for them. In the picture section here, this is where you can color correct your gameplay. Analog audio gain is useful if you're using the chat link cable and you need to boost the audio volume, as normally the chat link audio comes in a little bit soft. And here I can set some profiles if I want to have a variety of different capture card settings. In this next section, I can control how loud the game audio is, so adjust that to your liking. Within the live stream section, you can actually sign in to one of your YouTube or Twitch accounts, and you'll be able to live stream straight to it. You can set a stream title, and then next to where you make your title, you can have your advanced stream options, so whether or not you want your video to be public, the resolution, all that can be set within here. Some people get a little bit confused for where they need to set this dial. So before you set that dial, I recommend going to speedtest.net. And on this site, you can see how good or bad your internet speed is. And what you want to pay attention to is your upload speed. For example, if I have a 10 megabit per second upload speed and there's not a ton of devices or users on my network, then I would be comfortable setting my bitrate within the Elgato capture software anywhere between 5 megabits per second all the way up to maybe even 7 megabits per second, because I still have that little bit of leeway in case my internet dips for any reason. You wouldn't want to set your bitrate to match your upload speed, as you never know, it could dip and your stream will get choppy. It just won't be able to be stable. And with that being said, I'd highly recommend having an Ethernet cable directly connected to your laptop or computer so that you can get the fastest and most reliable internet speed while you're streaming. In the live commentary section, I can select a mic that I have either built in or that I plugged in via USB. I can also select to automatically reduce the game sound. And guys, this is like a super annoying feature to have, honestly, because your game audio will just keep going up and down every single time you talk. I don't see many videos of people using this. The video title is what Elgato will use to categorize your gameplay. And if I go back up here to the settings real quick, you can see this is my directory path. So this is where those videos are going to save under that title. So in the Game Capture HD library right here. All the other information like game description and tags get pushed in addition to your stream title if you're streaming. But if you're just saving a regular video gameplay, then the title will be most important here. If we keep going over to the left here, this is the commentary button. You can see that it's lit up in blue, which means that it is active. If I disable it, then I won't be getting any commentary audio through my USB microphone, my built-in microphone, into my gameplay. Next to that is the live stream icon. So this is how you start and stop your live stream to YouTube, Twitch, whichever platform you're using. Over to the left of that is this mute toggle, so I'll hear my gameplay and my voice out loud if I unmute this. See how you can hear me like this? Yeah, it's annoying. Honestly, that's another setback with the Elgato software, because sometimes I would just want to hear my gameplay audio and not my voice audio, which I don't have a problem with if I'm using something like OBS. Because within OBS, I can set which audio tracks I want to hear or not hear while it's being recorded at the same time. Below that mute button is the disable preview, so you won't see my preview anymore if I select that. Everything else to the left here shows me information on how long my flashback recording has been running for. So it's been going for about 26 minutes, and I can use this icon to go back in time to record stuff that, hey, I might have missed. And then I can press this record icon if I want to start recording my gameplay. The last thing I want to show you guys within the Elgato game capture software is the stream command, and this is where you can set some different scenes and sources that you might want to have set when you do your live streams. So let's take scene 3 for example, and I want to get my Facecam here, and I have a USB camera plugged in. I also have my built-in webcam that I can use. So all I have to do is select the edit scenes button over here to the far right. So we're just going to exit that, and we're going over to this plus button down here to add an overlay. And now I can select a different webcam that I may want to use. So let's go with my 1080p Pro Stream webcam. And there I am. I can set my Facecam just like that. And when I'm done editing, just select in editing, and there you go. It'll be set on your capture software. Over in the edit tab is where we can modify different clips, maybe make some splits in a couple different places, and then delete certain parts of the video altogether. And then once you're finished and satisfied with your edit, you can go ahead and save it using the share option over here on the bottom right. The regular Elgato game capture software is alright, but you can tell it's a little bit dated and could definitely use a revamp, as it hasn't gotten a whole UI update in some time. Alrighty, now we've moved on to the Windows side of things to give you a little bit of a showcase of what the 4K capture utility tool has feature-wise. So with that being said, you can tell that this capture software is a bit more streamlined, cleaner looking, and just less stuff all over the place compared to the original capture card tool from Elgato. You'll be doing most of your configuring in the 4K utility tool in your preferences, which is in the top right hand corner, this gear icon. Select that, and let's start off with the general section here. First thing that they have here is the enable stream link, which is really just to record gameplay off of your iPad, iPhone, that kind of thing. Below that is the software version information, so you can see what version you're on and whether or not you need to get updates. The next tab is the device. So for me, I have the Elgato HD60S Plus selected right now. My audio input is HDMI because I usually like hearing my audio through my computer. If I wanted to use a chat link cable, I would select analog audio. You can also mess with your color range and EDID mode, but for me, I've just left these by default. In the picture settings, this is where you can just adjust the color correction. In the recording section, this is where you'll set your directory path for where you want your videos to save and where you want screenshots to save. Video encoder, so I'm using my graphics card right now, the Radeon Pro 560. Under that, you can enable HDR recording, which brings out your lights and darks more. It just looks really pretty, but you will need a compatible TV or monitor that can pass through HDR10. Below that, the format section will determine how high of quality you want to record in. And with the HD60S Plus, you can do it up to 2160p at 60 frames per second, which, if you didn't know, is 4K quality. But if you take a look at this yellow icon here, it says that my input format is going to be 1080p at 60 frames per second. So you can't output a quality that you can't input. So I'll have to only stick to 1080p at 60 FPS. But I'm glad at least you have these options. On Mac OS, using the original Elgato game capture software, you can't go this high at all. Setting your bitrate, you can make the quality even better. Output will clearly tell you what your recording quality is going to be. Under that, you can reduce the preview frame rate during recording, so that will lessen the load on your computer. That goes for flashback recording as well, as that can take a lot of load on your computer because you're constantly recording. So you can take that off if you don't need it. And something else that's nice here is you can set the duration of that flashback recording. The last tab here is the microphone. So my audio input is the Blue Yeti, but I also have these other options that are like built into my computer. I can set that input gain, so if I want it to be even louder, I can do that. Or if I need it to be a little software, but usually you want your voice to kind of go over the gameplay audio. And now take a look at this feature here, the monitor audio. If I select this, select apply, with this selected, I can actually hear myself right now. Luckily, my volume's low enough on my computer you can't hear the feedback. Decided to turn that back off because when I'm listening to my gameplay through my computer, I don't like hearing my own voice at the same time, slightly delayed. It's just pretty annoying. So I have the monitor audio off for my microphone and I just hear my gameplay audio, which is just beautiful. And you can't do that in the original Elgato game capture software, which is another complaint. Like if we exit out of this and comparable with the other Elgato game capture software, by muting this, I won't hear my voice anymore, but then my audio commentary is going to be gone from my videos. So I'd want to have this, but on the other software, I'll still hear the feedback from my voice without having the option to not monitor it. With that being said, I can see my gameplay audio coming through here on the right side, and I can mute that if I wanted to for the recording. And then on the left side of that, I have the commentary audio. This camera icon, I can take a screenshot. This is the record icon. You can pause your flashback recording or go back to where it's live, which is nice. Above that, this is where the flashback recording feature is, so I can go back far in time if I wanted to, like 2 minutes behind, 3 minutes, which is really nice. Over to the left of that is the information for how I want my gameplay to be saved. Above that, I can go to my library, and this is where all my recordings will be sorted. So yeah, this software, in my opinion, is better than the original capture card software. It just has the features people actually use. Like, you can tell that this one didn't have the editing modules, because who the heck's editing in the Elgato capture card tool? We have our own good editors. The thing missing here is that you can't stream using this application. Give your customers an amazing streaming recording software that we can use to record in the highest quality no matter what our operating system is, and be able to stream, make different windows, see our chat, something along the lines of Streamlabs OBS, but even better. So that takes care of the recording aspect of using the Elgato HD60S Plus. But how can we edit this gameplay now? Here we go, guys. I am in the primary editing software that I use, Final Cut Pro 10. That's what I use to edit all the videos current to date that I do on this YouTube channel. And now I'm going to show you guys a little bit of my editing process for if I were to ever do Facecam recording gameplays, how I would sync that up and everything using this editing software. The folder that I have up here right now contains the iPhone 11 Facecam recording. Next to that would be the whole gameplay recording from the Elgato Game Capture. So that means that this contains the game audio and the commentary, as well as the gameplay picture. Next to that are the separate files that Elgato will also save in addition to the entire gameplay recording. So that would be the game audio and the commentary audio by themselves, so you can edit and change the levels, all that kind of stuff, in case you're not that happy with the full recording. So I'm gonna drag all 4 of these clips into my project right here, and these are some crazy big icons, so I'm gonna make them a little bit smaller there. And one of the amazing features I can use in Final Cut Pro 10, which you don't have in most of the cheaper or third-party editing softwares, is a synchronization feature, so that I can line up all of these clips together. When I have them all selected, I can go to clip and then select synchronize clip, and I'll just say master gameplay, select OK. It's saving. Boom, we have one solid gameplay source here. And now if I double click into this and we go over here, we can see that everything is lined up together. Here, I'll give you guys a little listen right now. I'm gonna be hearing the audio from the game and the audio from myself, and I don't necessarily like always hearing the audio from my own voice. So you see how it's all lined up together? If I didn't have this synchronization feature within this editing software, I'd have to do that manually on my own, whether that be lining it up by reaction with the Facecam and the gameplay, or lining up the audio from the Facecam audio with the gameplay audio that includes the commentary. Luckily, I'm in fantastic shape here, and I'm actually going to move the Facecam above the gameplay because we want to see my face. We don't want my face hidden by the gameplay, right? A little bit messy here, but this will make it a little bit easier to work with. And then I can just disable that track if I'd like. Since I'll be using the commentary audio down here, I won't need the audio from that iPhone 11 Facecam file. So I'm just going to completely mute that. And now I want this Facecam to be smaller. It's taking up the whole gameplay screen. So I'm going to go over here, select transform. And I'm just going to take the corners, zoom them in. And I usually put my Facecam over to the left side here. So we're going to put it right over here, just like that. And maybe we want this cropped in a little bit. So we can just select the drop down again. I selected the crop option, and we're just going to pull it in just a little bit. So this is looking much better already. And if I wanted to, I could even add a Facecam on top of it. So this is one of the PNG transparent image files that I've always used for my Facecams. Like that, you can see it doesn't line up. If I wanted to, I could line this up much better by going into Photoshop and doing it that way. But we can also mess with it this way as well. See how we can just manipulate it just a little bit here. I can even use the transform options on the right side of the screen of the editing software and just pull it in just the way I want it to be. As for the audio goes, right now I have this full gameplay clip with the commentary and also the game audio in it at the same time, but I don't need that. I'm gonna mute it because below that I have the commentary track and the game audio track by themselves, so I can manipulate the decibel level for each if I'd like. So let's give this a listen and see how we want to adjust things. We need no headphones right now. We're trying to do a little test run with the Elgato software. Okay, so I could hear that my game audio was a little bit loud, so I'm going to select that. I'm going to go up to my volume setting and just turn that down a little bit, just so my voice can be a little bit more heard in the gameplay. I don't need no headphones right now. We're trying to do a little test run with the Elgato software. Okay, that sounds much better. Everything's looking good. I'm actually going to go back using this arrow here to my main track. And now I can just make my cuts and edit exactly how I want. Those are just some cuts I've made so far, but I'll continue this throughout, before the end of this video, obviously, when you guys see it. But one other thing I want to mention to you guys is this is something important that I always put on all my videos is a nice color correction. As you can see up here, just a little bit gray and a little dull. But over here, I've made some presets for myself. So this is one right here that I've made, and it just looks a lot better. Like, look how much more colorful that is compared to what it was before. With all that being said, here's my quick edit example. Alrighty guys, just got a game of Fortnite going. I have my recording going in the Elgato software. We're gonna hop out the bus, see what we can do in this game, and this is just an example. We're gonna just rock with it without any headphones right now, but if you were to be using the Elgato software for your primary source of recording and editing, definitely look to pick up the chat link cable if you're using the PlayStation 4. But you know me, I don't need no headphones right now. We're trying to do a little test run with the Elgato software. It's alright. We'll live. Watch his no scope. Okay, whatever, man. Woo, that guy get hit up bad. Oh, snap, man. The point of all this being is that you can edit out the audio from your different cameras and face cams and just use the audio from your good microphone that's integrated within the Elgato software. How did you guys feel about the gameplay edit there? Not too bad? It's good for a YouTube video, but what if we want to live stream our gameplay? I would definitely not recommend using the Elgato software, which would only work on Mac. So we're going to cover how you would live stream using the Elgato HD60S Plus using Streamlabs OBS and OBS. The settings are literally the same, guys. You can follow the same steps. Using the Elgato HD60S Plus with Streamlabs OBS, you're in good shape because those work natively with macOS as well as Windows. Now, let's say you own the Elgato HD60S. Well, if you're on Windows, this next step I'm about to show you will work exactly the same for Streamlabs OBS or OBS. But if you're on macOS, you'll have to download some additional software, such as the OBS link and the NDI plugin in order to get the HD60S to work with OBS and Streamlabs OBS on your Mac. It is a little bit extra for this video to go into how the HD60S works for macOS with OBS and Streamlabs OBS, so I have done a couple tutorials that I'll put in the card above as well as link description below. Go check those out, and I go in detail to how you can configure your Elgato HD60S with OBS and Streamlabs OBS. But for you guys that are not a part of that scenario, within Streamlabs OBS or OBS, steps are going to be the same. You want to first start off with a scene. And within the sources section, I'm going to select that plus button, select video capture device, and then select add source. And we'll just name this add the source. And then under the device, we're going to select the option of the game capture HD60S Plus. We should see the gameplay window appear. And for some odd reason, you have to use the preset of 1280 by 720 because see, if you uncheck it, you can't get the resolution of 1920 by 1080. Luckily, the input source is going to be 1080p. But as for the preset, it has to stay in 1280 by 720. And then within the video section, you want to make sure your base canvas is 1920 by 1080. That'll be the 1080p output. Select done. And then in transform, I'm going to fit the screen again, and boom, we're looking good. Oddly enough, in OBS with this capture card, I can deselect, use preset, scroll down the resolution, select 1920 by 1080, frame rate, I can keep it where it is, and then next to that I can select 60 FPS, and then I have a picture here, but in Streamlabs OBS, I don't. I will say I don't see a quality difference from using the preset to not using the preset. I mean, do you guys see anything major? I honestly don't. It's all about the resolution of your profile, so as long as that's 1920 by 1080, you're good. Last piece to this is the audio, so what you can do is add another source here. Audio input capture, add the source, game audio, add source, the device, again would be the Game Capture HD60S Plus. Done. And then you'll see down over here that it's added to my mixer. In the case that you're not getting audio from your capture card, you will need to launch the Elgato Game Capture software, and that will get the audio into OBS or Streamlabs OBS for you. Here we go, just launched it. I can see my audio coming through, and then if I go back over here, you can see that my audio is coming through here as well. I'll probably mute this aux audio right there, but as you can see, it is working now. If I want to hear my gameplay audio while I have my headphones plugged into the computer instead of using the chat lane cable, I can go over here to the mixer within Streamlabs OBS, click on this gear icon to see my advanced audio settings, and then for the HD60S Plus game audio, I want to select monitor and output, and I'll hear my game audio as you can hear right now. So there you guys have it. I know this video was probably a long one. I hope you guys could see the difference between the HD60S and the HD60S Plus setup. They're similar, but you can see that the S Plus has a little bit of an advantage, especially if you're on Mac OS. As always, if you guys have any questions about what I covered in this video, feel free to leave a comment down below, as well as DM me in my socials, also linked below. Go check me out there. And besides that, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Like the video up, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here with the post notifications on. If I haven't said it already, thank you so much for over 60,000 subscribers. We're growing the channel so nicely, and it's all thanks to you guys for supporting the videos and watching them, liking them, sharing them, all those things out. So thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful day. Stay healthy, stay safe. I'll see you in my next video. Peace out.